Today we're going to talk very briefly about something that we get asked all the time, and it is how do you deal with conflict, or how do you teach the children to deal with conflict. That is why you parents have enrolled your children in a play group, so that they can learn to play as a group. It's easy and somewhat boring to play alone, but playing in a group offers the amazing opportunity for children to learn about how to be a good citizen, so that they don't just act on their own will, their own desires all the time, that they get what they want most of the time, but some of the time they are going to have to give way to the will of another. And this is what the beginning of learning about democratic relationships for children. You can hear on the playground that somebody has just got hurt, and so there are teachers, assistants all around to support that process of what happens if somebody has got hurt. So what happens if somebody has got hurt? What happens if there is one toy and two children, and now we have come to this point in the child's development where they are not only playing alongside each other, playing parallel is what the psychologists called it. Parallel play moves into cooperative play, and how we get there is a process that must be supported by on-the-spot sort of life coaching, I guess, by the teachers and assistants here. This is why we have such a very low ratio of 1:4, 1:5. So what happens? Here we have children, say a scenario, there's a sand table. On that sand table there are pink spades, blue spades, red spades, yellow spades, but this one spade seems to be the spade that the children want to play with. And so here we have one child, say call it Jimmy. Jimmy sees the spade and takes it from Johnny. Jimmy just snatches it, and that is an experiment, a beginning of an inquiry into what happens if I just take what I want. What happens then is that I've forgotten now, is that Johnny begins to cry. I had that spade, he's saying with his tears. I had it first, and something about this feels unfair. And when we hear that, those tears, there we are activated as the adults to teach, to mentor and to coach the children about how to deal with conflict. So here we go. We come together. We don't send the one child off to a quiet place for them to think about what they have done. All they have done is reached out and started an experiment. So here we are to teach. The root word of discipline is teaching. That's why we are here. So here is a teacher. She's on their level. She's got either hand on each back, okay, supporting each in this process. There's no bully, there's no victim. We are all learning, and we begin to talk. This is what we do in Africa when there is a problem. In the true Africa, we have a lekgotla. We talk about the problem until we come to a decision where everybody is mostly happy. So now, oh dear, what happened here? And we give the children the chance to say into words what they have seen is happening. Of course, we know that there is your truth, there is my truth, and then there's the actual truth. But it is important for the children to be able to verbalize, to be able to speak their story, which is theirs and which is subjective. What happened here? Oh no, there is one toy. I see there is one toy and there are two children, two friends. What do you think we're going to do about that? Says the teacher. Always making the responsibility for this problem solving the responsibility of the child. We're not going to rush in and rescue and, oh no, he had it first, you must give it back, and blah, 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 blah. We actually want the children to activate their own thinking. What do we do? Because this is going to happen again. So one toy, two children, what are we going to do? And we ask for suggestions. If there are no suggestions at first, then we might offer some possibilities. Do you think that could work? What about if you turn those Tyrannosaurus Rex hands, they look like this, the snatching hands, we call them T-Rex hands, and they are snatching hands. That's how we all start out. We like snatch, you just take what you want. We turn those hands, these snatchy hands, into cupped hands, sharing hands. Instantly the non-verbal is different. It has a different energy and the children respond to it so well. And then the next step is to perhaps maybe you want to change your words. So instead of crying, you use the power of your words instead of your tears. And so you say, ask for what you want. Please, may I have that back? If the children are even able to go on, they can go, I had it first, I can give it back when you're done. These are words that we almost use as a credo, almost like it's part of our culture at Small World. We teach the same words, the same sort of process to each child, and it really is magic. I think it just proves that children were just asking for teaching on this. They were not a bully, they were not being mean, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer, sometimes it takes a little bit shorter, but it all depends on the adult, the parent's image of the child. Now we have the parents that can make this process a normal, everyday part of growing up and being a good citizen, or they can go straight into the drama of it. My child is being bullied, my child is a victim, or my child is such a bully, what can we do? And actually all it was just an inquiry, a beginning of a child climbing their own mountain. So we talk about it almost like as if a child enters into a tunnel, but they do not enter alone. The child who needs to know how to be more assertive will hook in a child who's almost the opposite of that. So a child who's passive, more passive in dealing with conflict, will hook in, specifically of all the children that they could play with, specifically will hook in the child who deals with conflict in a more aggressive way. And together they travel down through this tunnel. Sometimes it's dark, sometimes it's difficult, but you know there's a light at the end of that tunnel, and that's what the children are doing. They are proactively going into their own challenges. They lean into their own challenges. They climb their own mountains instead of sitting at the bottom thinking, oh no, I can't, I need to be rescued the whole time. I hope that really helps. If you have any questions about what this looks like, you saw our vlog post or our Facebook post earlier about how we actually teach the children to shape their bodies into one that says, don't mess with me, I am not for hurting, but it's all in the non-verbal. You can go check that out on Facebook as well, and take faith in your children. They know what they're doing, and they just need a supportive environment that does not judge and does not label. Have a lovely week, and happy Women's Day to all the incredible women of Small World for yesterday. Cheers.